Here in the U.S., there's no shortage of things to talk about. Former FBI Director James Comey will make his first public appearance this week since being fired by President Trump. Comey will testify before the Senate Intelligence Committee in a widely anticipated event about alleged collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. This as the White House sets up a special unit to handle the investigations. Let's bring in our trusted, fair, and balanced panel, Civic Forum PAC Chair Ford O'Connell and radio show host Garland Nixon. Gentlemen, I think that there may be one thing that you'll agree upon. Maybe not nuances, but will you agree? And I'll start with you, Garland, because you'll probably have different reasoning, and maybe you'll feel more strongly about it. That there's a lot of distraction with the Russia investigation when it comes to things that need to be done on Capitol Hill and with the White House.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and
but will you say it's warranted? I assume you will. You'll say it's warranted.
Well, you know, it's there based on the Russia investigation. I think we'll have to wait until the end based on what Robert Mueller says before we know whether or not it's warranted. If it comes out that there is nothing. Boy, that could be a long time. It could be a long time.
Well, and that's exactly the Democrats' game plan here. Look,
distraction.
It is a distraction for the Trump agenda. It shouldn't be. They're using it as a weapon basically to monopolize headlines and block the agenda. What is actually Comey going to say this week on Capitol Hill? Trump asked me to back off. Great, but that's not obstruction of justice. And by the way, there's not a statute covering collusion if that did in fact occur. This is nothing more than a way for the Democrats to try to turn public opinion against Trump and block his agenda. And the reason why it's being successful is because congressional Republicans are wussies and basically scared of their own shadow and won't get to work and do the people's job.
You know what I'm curious, though, is after every hearing, you pick what network you want to listen to and watch, and then everyone's declaring victory. So what are people supposed to think this week? Should they just watch the testimony and then that's it and make up their own minds? But everyone's going to be sending out press releases that this is a win for them.
Certainly, and so therefore I do think people have to focus on it. And I think the biggest so far, you know, if you look at health care, the biggest impediment to the Trump agenda has been the divisions within the Republican Party. So what the Russian probe and the Russia investigation have kind of taken us away from is seeing how the divisions in the Republican Party have blocked the Trump agenda. Well, now what I think will be interesting to keep an eye on the infrastructure bill. Certainly the tax bill, health care bill, the Democrats are going to fight again. But many of them have already said if the infrastructure bill is something that will work and create jobs, and maybe Republicans will admit that the government can create some jobs, we'll go along with it.
Are Republicans going to want that?
Yeah, why wouldn't they? Don't they want jobs?
Well, what I was going to say, though, to your point, is that the Democrats have no interest in getting to the bottom of the Russian probe.
But okay, so I see what you're saying, but they are concerned about the fact that there are people who elected them into office and they're saying, this is the middle of the summer and you have nothing done.
And why are we talking about this? Because Hillary Clinton lost an election. Let's be perfectly honest about what's going on. The Democrats don't have a message. The only thing that unites them is hate against Trump. Great, that is a strategy, but where is that going to get you? How is that going to move the American people forward? And look, if we go back to the May 3rd testimony with Comey on Capitol Hill, he said the White House didn't interfere with him. So either he's lying now or he was lying then, at which point he's not even a credible witness. All we are doing is basically creating headlines to block out until the midterm elections in 2018, where the Democrats hope, Garland's guys hope, that they can take back the House basically by hating on Trump.
Well, you said 2018. I was just going to ask Garland if we're going to be sitting here in August having the same conversation that nothing has been done and we are looking at the budget, which has to be done. September 30th rolls around. There's no, oh, we're going to pass a health care bill and then we're going to pass it on to the Senate.
Well, the budget's going to get through, and I'll tell you why. And the wall, forget that. That's out the window. There is no wall. Basically, the Republicans, since they have both houses of Congress and the White House, are not going to be willing to shut the government down just prior to 2018. And that's the only way they get the wall and a lot of other things that they want. So we're going to see the budget's going to get through, and there's not going to be any major changes or adjustments.
But what congressional Republicans have to understand is between now and September 30th, when the budget is up, there's only about 40 days where both the House and Senate are in session together.
It's not a lot.
So the clock is ticking on them. They also have to understand something else. If they want to get through tax reform or they want to get through an Obamacare overhaul, they have to do it before April of 2018, because by then everyone's campaigning for their own livelihood. Right. The greatest way to scare Congress is to make them fear that they're going to lose their seat, and unfortunately that blocks the people's business, and the Democrats are doing a great job throwing a roadblock in there with Comey, which is a nothing burger, as Hillary Clinton might say.
I'll give you the last word, Garland.
I think what we're going to see is there's not going to be a lot to happen. A lot's going to happen because everyone's afraid. Nobody wants to take a misstep, and I think basically what we're going to see is a lot of positioning and not a lot of politics and policy.
Ooh, you're gonna
Welcome to Washington.
Right, I was going to say you're going to have a lot of unhappy constituents.
Unlike all the other years of politics.
Right. The approval rating, again. Gentlemen, Thank you so much. I hope that we're not. I hope that maybe we are back talking about something that's getting done. Wishful thinking.
That would be nice.